I'm Dr. Steve Winlock, Executive Director of the LACOE School of Education and CCSESA's Art Lead for Region 3. And with me is Jackie White. Mrs. White is the Assistant Superintendent of Court and Community College and Career Initiatives, Art Entry, Adult Entry, Sacramento County Office of Ed. With that, we're going to get to know Jackie a little bit. Jackie, what was your first art experience you remember?
So I started dance lessons when I was 3 years old. And the very first thing I remember, beside dance class, I really loved my little pink ballet shoes. Sitting on the floor, pointing and flexing your toes. That's one of the early ways they have little ones start to kind of learn how their body moves. But we did a performance when I was pre-kinder 5, about 5. And I still remember standing on the stage for the first time with my pink, we were puff girls or something, I don't know, little dance girls with our tutus and everything else. And we had these little pink wands. And apparently I got a little distracted when my dad came down in the front to take a photo and stopped mid-dance and said, "Hey, look, there's my dad." But I do distinctly remember that experience, the experience of being on stage, being with the group. Obviously, I was a little off task, but I do remember that pride in that moment from really,
Wow.
5 to have that memory. I can still sort of see the lights and the stage and my dad.
That's wild. What was your favorite art form and why?
So I love visual art. I am a learner that needs multiple ways to process, but I think dance still is my favorite to this day. I'm a big fan of Alvin Ailey. I'm a big fan of the dance companies that sort of paved the way for dancers that didn't look like what I experienced in a traditional ballet space early on. So I'm really a fan of some of the non-traditional dance companies and programs. So dance is it for me, I think.
Wow. Why do you value the arts for students?
I was a non-traditional student. People that know me well are smiling at this point, but it was difficult for me to sit still. Sometimes it took me a long time to figure out why it was that just having a teacher at the front of the classroom sort of talking didn't work for me. And I think that experience, I got through school, went to college, and that was sort of laying there. And as I was able to start working and teaching in the arts, I saw that in my students. And I saw that some of our students need to be able to get up and move. And some of our students are visual learners, and just reading text isn't going to work for them. And some students need to get up and put the words from a play or something else in their bodies. They need to get up and act out the Shakespeare. They can't just read it to understand the words. And so I think that is why the arts are valuable for students. I think the arts are also a career, not just a way of learning, but a career and a lifestyle for a lot of students that often gets overlooked. There are millions of jobs in the state of California alone in the creative industries. And so giving students those opportunities to be creative and collaborative and connect with other people. The arts, if we give that to children at a foundational age, whether they become a professional artist or they just use it in their whatever career they pursue, they're going to be just much more successful in their lives. So,
well, how are you making a place for the arts in your sphere of influence?
I think the first thing is to constantly educate people about what the arts bring to students. That's the first thing. Why do they matter? How do they influence us? How do they shape our lives? The arts are oftentimes for representation of various cultures and things that we may not understand. So I think the first piece is helping people have understanding of what the arts bring. And then the next thing for me, is my favorite 4-letter word is a plan. You got to have a plan. So then there's all the basic things. What are the needs of the community? What is the school that I'm working in, or the district, or the county that I'm working in? What do we have? What are the resources we have? Where are there gaps? So really creating that plan for those pieces are the next step. And I think increasing understanding, developing a plan, and then you go back to those original stakeholders and really share the plan and share the vision and do that work together.
Well, this question, it says, what advice would you give to upcoming leaders, site district, county organizations in implementing art education?
Similar to having a passion for understanding why the arts matter, I think that's foundational. Why do we need that? I think the other advice is, what are the opportunities in your school, region, district for you to help bring arts forward? So, back to that, advice or that previous question, why do the arts matter? What's your plan? If you have a plan and then the opportunity comes forward, how can you use and leverage that opportunity to increase the arts? So the example I would use is when in a district that I worked in previously, we had a plan for the arts. There came an opportunity that we needed prep teachers. So, there was this sort of perfect storm that allowed us to bring art teachers in to provide prep. It was the entry into an increased opportunity for our students to have arts across the district. So I think really thinking, looking and seeking leverage points and opportunities. But you can't do that until you have the plan and until you have the vision at the beginning.
Mrs. White, I want to thank you on behalf of all of our students in this region, because you make art happen every day for every student. Thank you.
Thank you. I learned from the best.